Hey everybody, it's Strict9 with Strict9 GP, and I'm back with another episode of my Out of the Park 22 playthrough with the Giants. Getting ready to start the 2024 season. This will be my fourth season with this club, and luckily I've got an understanding owner because it could possibly be my last. Haven't had a great run with this team so far, but I think we got things turned around this offseason. Paid a lot of attention to the ballpark effects and just what kind of players I think will fit with this team, certainly in San Francisco. But it's going to be interesting. A few things look kind of positive, just aside from the guys we picked up. But we're going to go over that. I finished spring training last episode, so lineups are set. Made my roster moves. I want to start out and go over what I've been kind of highlighting almost every episode, but I like to keep an eye on this team position rankings. I've got it set as one of the widgets on my manager home screen. It just gives me an idea of where our players stack up against the rest of the league. So you can see Simeon, the sixth best second baseman in all of baseball. So that's in both leagues, American and National. So that, I think, was a good pickup. You see Devers still holding strong at fifth. Probably my best player offensively anyway. We've got Profar, who's middle of the pack. Definitely a better option than we've had. Still don't know how that left field situation is going to play out. I am going to go with Hunter Bishop a lot starting out the season against righties, but he's going to be on a short leash. I don't know if he'll stick. But then on the pitching side, they've got Clevenger, middle of the road, but that's 15th out of a lot of starting pitchers. He's coming off a good season for us. His ratings improved. He had a good spring, I believe. I really think this was a good pickup. I think he is one of those pitchers who does fit well in San Francisco. So I'm hopeful that he's not the kind of pitcher you would think this stage in his career would front a rotation, but I'm hoping that he can give us some good quality innings. And then Presley and Elledge, I'm hoping they have better seasons than last year, and that could be, with the pitching that we got around him this offseason. One of the things, though, I also like to look at is the waiver wire when you get out of spring training. Sometimes you can get some surprises there, and this year one showed up. First off, we are still in great shape budget-wise. So, if we start playing well, I wouldn't rule out making a big trade at the trading deadline. We've definitely got enough to pick up one even superstar caliber player if we could get him. But a player who came available on waivers on the pitching side was Tony Gonsolin. This guy, I think, is very valuable. Now, he's $5.5 million. A lot of times on that waiver wire, depending on the budget I have, I don't like to pick up guys with too much on their contracts, but that's really good value for this guy, I think. He's the kind of pitcher who could relieve, really middle relief setup. I think you can put him just about anywhere in the bullpen. And he could also start, even though his stamina is pretty low. You can see what he did last year for LA. It wasn't a great year, but I do think his ratings really look good. OSA thinks he's even better than my scout. He's got good control and stuff, 4 strong pitches. I don't think I can see his... No, I'm not going to be able to see his splits from last year. That's one of those things where I turn that off to save space. I'm really hoping I pick him up. We'll see pretty soon into the start of the season. What I'll probably do if that happens, I've got 2 options, really. I can move either Frisbee or Santos down and put Gonsolin in that 5th spot in rotation or maybe even ahead of Sheffield. Or I can maybe move Frisbee down or Peters down. Although Peters is coming off 2 solid seasons, I'll probably keep Peters up there and put Gonsolin in there as a middle reliever and then, occasional starter, like emergency starter. I'm going to stick with Jelly, mainly because he's coming off a really solid year, but he also had a good spring. I want to give him a little bit more time just to see if he can develop any. I would like to keep Frisbee up as far as that goes because I don't think he's ready for the starting rotation, but he's another guy with 3 above average pitches, good control, 3 stars rated as a reliever. So I think he's valuable in the bullpen. But fingers crossed. I'm hoping that waiver claim goes through. What I'm going to do, I'm going to send through hopefully the first month of the season this episode. But one thing I also want to look at, I don't get too carried away with preseason predictions. It's one of those things where they do multiple sims and then just kind of give an average of the team records and the individual like top hitters and top pitchers. If we just glance at some of the other leagues, it looks like it's going to be really competitive if it follows this line. I mean, you've got Toronto and Tampa Bay, just a game between them. Not a lot of wins either in the American League East. And then Minnesota, Indians, White Sox, really competitive in the Central, and even 3 strong teams in the West. But then you look at the National League, and we are in, I think right now, the best division in baseball, certainly in this sim. But you've got 4 teams predicted, and really even the American League East, or National League East, they've got 4 teams predicted to go above 500. It looks like a lot of wins are coming, at the expense of some poor teams in the American League, like Baltimore, Kansas City, Texas, and then we got the Reds and Rockies looking to have poor seasons here in the National League. But 84 and 78, I would take that. It wouldn't be enough based on these predictions to make the playoffs, to make that wild card, but I think that would be a positive sign that we're moving in the right direction. We're still going to be struggling with our batting average, with scoring runs, power. Those things are going to be a struggle, but I think these numbers would definitely be an improvement over last year. And then the pitching looks really good. And individually, we don't have anybody who's showing up as a top performer in the predictions, but I'm not really expecting that. I think the ballpark is against some of these guys, Devers, for instance. But I think, I would be really happy with that kind of a performance. So let's fingers crossed on that one. Let's hope that comes true because, we've had 3 very mediocre seasons. We need to move in a positive direction. So let's take a look at the lineups, what we got going on. So against the right-handed pitchers, we got Miyazaki still leading off. He is rated pretty decent against right-handed pitchers. The thing about him, his defense is really solid, so I'm hoping that he can hang on. He's not an ideal leadoff player, but in his rookie season he did well there. And then we got Profar, Devers, Luciano, who had a really poor spring, so I'm hoping that he just benefits from a lot of play time and starts playing up to his potential. And then Simeon, Bishop, like I said, he's going to be on a short leash because I do think Blankenhorn is adequate. When you take in his contact, gap power, and power, I think he could do better than Bishop at this stage, but Bishop, I think, has a little bit more upside. Then Bart and Simmons. Simmons is the guy. I've got to see something from him defensively. Because if his defense is just average, he's a liability, and that does give me some options, really in a few areas. Because Profar can play a good second base. You can see he's 55 in the position ratings. Infield ratings are pretty good. The arm, you don't need a really great arm for second, so I think he could be adequate there. And Simeon, who I think came up as a shortstop, he can still play, shortstop. I'd hate to eat Simmons' contract, but I'm really at this point wanting to win. And Simmons, 2 years left with that player option, which I almost positive he would take at this point in his career. But I just can't afford the kind of line he was giving us last year. So I'm hoping that offensively anyway, I'm hoping that he gives us something defensively that makes up for it. Now against left-handed pitchers, it changes a little bit. Definitely getting Hernandez in that lineup. He's going to be playing left field. Miyazaki, I debated just not even playing him against lefties, but I want his defense at center. Dubon, though, is going to come in there every couple games, the way I've got it set up. Then we got Simeon, Devers, Luciano still in the cleanup spot, Profar, Bart, Miyazaki, and Simmons rounding it out. So that's where we're going to have to pay attention to what we're doing against lefties. And if we start losing a lot, is it because we're losing primarily to left-handed pitchers? That's something I'm going to have to really pay attention to, because I think Dubon could start against lefties for sure. I think he's going to be much better than Miyazaki. And then, is saying what I said about Simmons, is he going to be good enough offensively to make it worthwhile throwing? Well, good enough defensively. I guess at this point he's only going to be adequate offensively. But there's some options I guess we could throw in there. But we're still a little bit better overall, I think, against right-handed pitchers. In some ways, when you look at the individuals who are rated the highest, but we got some good right-handed bats finally this year, so I think should be a little bit more hope that we can play against left-handed pitchers. Last year was terrible. I think we were like playing 300 and something, percentage-wise on winning percentage against left-handed pitchers. So let's go ahead and get it started. We're going to start out on the road against Arizona, 4 games on the road, so that's a tough start. And I'm just going to get it going. We also have Dustin May. I was just going to mention. So Dustin May is another guy. I mean, this guy is he's a starter. It looks like he may have lost a tick or two in his overall ratings, but he's going down to a rehab assignment. And the thing is, that's true. There's no minor league team right now playing. So what do you do in this case? So let me look at our schedule and then move to Sacramento. Yeah, they're not playing until May. It's still set. What the heck is going on? Their schedule's not been generated yet. I think I'm still playing with the old version that doesn't have that fixed yet. So I'm not going to be able to send him down. So I think what that means is, Santos, I hate to do it to him, but I think I'm going to have to send Santos down. And I'm going to put Dustin May in there. And probably put him in the third spot. Man, I didn't really want to do that. That's something I guess I needed to check. I thought that the schedules were set. It doesn't start till May. Dang it. So I didn't change that. That's bad on me. I think, though, the problem is until you download that patch that does it, it's not going to do it automatically. So I'm going to work on trying to fix that for next year. But for now, I'm just going to have to live with it. That kind of sucks. But good news is we won our first game, 5-2 against Arizona. We had some good Ramos here off the bench, 2 for 2, scored a couple. Miyazaki had a couple hits. Simmons, you must have heard me talking. He was 2 for 3. And then Schmidt took the start. Good outing from him, 6 1/3, just 2 runs. And Ellich got the save. No runs there from the bullpen. One of the things I also wanted to make sure, I like it to be set to whatever rotation I'm using, and I'm going with 5-man. I like to have it strict, on occasion, highest rested, because that'll get guys like Clevenger maybe a little bit more starts than Sheffield over the course of a season. It doesn't add up too much, but I like to go with that. So now Clevenger's going to be starting, looks like, game 2, and we win 8-2. And we caught Gonsolin. So now I'm going to be pitching Rich, it looks like. So on the road, which, Devers, he needs to put the numbers up now because, he's going to have better luck on the road. But he had a great game, 3 for 5, drove in a couple. Simeon, 2 for 5, 3 RBIs. And then Clevenger pitched another strong outing and no runs from the bullpen. So now, here I have another decision to make. And, to me, it looks like Jelly should be the guy to send down, even though he has, he's coming off a decent year. I mean, Peters is costing me a little bit. But, man, here's the thing with Peters. He's only got the fastball. I think I'm probably going to move him down. And I know he is, he's got some money on him, but I definitely feel like Gonsolin is better there. So let's do that. And he's going to be unhappy, I'm sure, because he's probably going to want to be in the starting rotation. But I'm going to move him over to a reliever and then put him in that middle relief spot. And instead of Frisbee, I want him being the emergency starter. Probably won't see it too much. All right, so game 3 against Arizona. Oh, we lose 2-5. And Miyazaki off to a good start. Simeon, same. He's hitting 364. And Dustin May, he's likely to get injured, unfortunately, with coming off like that. And then Gonsolin just shelled in his first outing. That's not good, but I'm thinking with his ratings, he'll give me more good outings than bad. And now, was there a Garrett Cole injured for 5 weeks? So game 4, can we win this series? We do win 6-4, but we got a big injury already. Ben Abram, young pitcher who I'm hoping is going to have a great future with us. He's going to be out for a month. Man, didn't want to see that early, but it looks like we may have. Let's see, we did go against a left-handed pitcher, and look what we did: 10 hits, scored 6. Hernandez, great line from him leading off. Bart, Luciano, and Simmons hitting 417. Abram got through 4 1/3, looked good, but and one of the. I hope this is a trend that doesn't continue. Trinan and Presley, who looked terrible, both of them last year, continue to look terrible. Trinan, luckily, this is the last year of his contract. So I'm going to have to bring up, I think I'm going to have to bring up where did he go? So Jelly is up. Oh, okay. That was Chris Peters is coming back up. And then on the pitching staff, gosh, Gonsolin, didn't want to do that. Might be good that I picked him up when I did. So he's going to be starting Jelly in the middle relief and emergency starting for Frisbee. All right, so good series though. We're starting out 3-1, and we're going to be playing the Astros on the road. So that's 7 games on the road against some really tough teams. We're 4th in power rankings. I want to check the waiver wire because it's usually the first couple weeks that you'll see some good players out there like Loizaga. He's another one that would probably be a pretty decent arm to have in the bullpen, but I think I'll move on though from him since I got Gonsolin, but no batters really showing up. So let's get this one going. Game 1 against Houston, we lose 3-8. I'm wondering if we're playing this is against a right-handed pitcher. Sheffield, bad outing from him, 6 runs in 4 2/3, and offensively not a whole lot positive here. Devers is looking pretty good. It's going to be really interesting to see what he does when we get to San Francisco. Profar off to a slow start, but I'm going to give him some time. I think he'll develop a little bit. So now, game 2, we lose 4-5. Elledge ended his save streak, so it looks like he blew the save here. Miyazaki, Devers, a couple hits apiece. Bishop, 2 home runs for him so far, a 54 home run pace. He's not going to keep that up. And then using the DH against them too. Schmidt, another good outing. So 2 good starts from him, but Elledge and Frisbee really blew it for us in the bullpen. Game 3 against Houston, we lose 5-6, so we were swept by Houston. Profar finally got a decent game going. So some good offense here and there on that series, but pitching was a struggle. Even Clevenger really got hit hard in his start. So now we're going up against Miami. I'm going to check the news real quick. Giolito off to a really hot start. He's got 2 wins and 2 starts, no runs. And then Corbin Burns, who was last year's unanimous, I think, decision for the Cy Young, he's just looking incredible in his first 2 starts. Let you look at that. 2-0, 15 2/3 innings, 27 strikeouts. That's incredible. And then Tatis, 3 home runs. Now we're going up against Miami. They're 3-3, but we're at home, and this is our first series at home. This is where it's really going to hopefully tell. So we won the first one 5-4. Good game from Simeon, but he's injured. 2 for 2, drove in 4. I'm hoping that's not a big injury. Simmons continues to hit well. Don't know where that's coming from. And then Dustin May, it's going to take a while. Not being able to give him some rehab time, it's going to take a while before he gets to where he needs to be. Elledge got his 3rd save. Game 2 against Miami, we lose 2-3. Miyazaki looking really good. We may have been playing a left-handed. We did go up against a lefty, so we lost. But Gonsolin got the start. 4 2/3. You know, that's one thing about him. His stamina is not too high, so I don't know if that's going to be something to worry about. So game 3, let's hope we can win this series. Oh, we got Simeon, thankfully, was a minor injury. He's back to full strength. And we win. Man, that was some close games there. I think they were all 1 run. We win the series 4-3 in the final game. Simeon gets a home run here. Luciano struggling, hitting 189. We've got Hunter Bishop, who's actually looking pretty good. Hernandez struggling too a little bit. And then Sheffield didn't get the decision. He looked good trying, and man, what's going on with this guy? I just don't understand it. It's one of those things that he's not rated the way he was, say, a few years ago, I'm sure. But man, I do not understand. He's given up a lot of hits. A lot of hits and walks are just killing him. So at this point, last year of his contract, I would not be opposed to just releasing him if I can't get any trade value from it. Players of the week: Ramirez, Tatis Jr., and then power rankings, we are, I would say, middle of the pack at 15. It's an early look at it, but team stats: 2-1 at home, 3-4 on the road. So we've only met 1 left-handed starter, and we're at 500. Offense is looking good, pitching not so much. So now we're going to go against Arizona at home. Wilson, I don't know if he's one guy that I wanted up there. Let me make sure, because I've got Hernandez now to play a lot of positions. Don't think I'm going to need Wilson, so I want to move him down to AAA, but I may have to. No, I thought I might have to put him on waivers. So Arizona off to a slow start, 3-7. Already a trade, but not a big one in the league. So game 1, we lose 2-0. This is where it's gonna, this is the struggle, is getting some offense at home. It looks like Clevenger may have pitched a decent game here. 5 innings, just 1 earned run, and the bullpen looked good. But Zach Gallen, a righty, but he dominated this game. Now we're going up against Martin, who is another right-handed pitcher, but he's off to a bad start. We win 6-1. Great line there. Miyazaki, 2 for 4, drove in 4. Profar, a couple hits. One of the things I picked up, one of the reasons I picked up Profar was because of his stat line playing in San Francisco, so I'm hoping that he looks really good. It's early, but just, I'll do it here too. Just look at the splits. At home, he is hitting 278. Not much power, but, it's probably a lot better than some of the options I had last year. And then Schmidt, 8 innings. This guy's off to a great start. 2-0, 180 ERA. Game 3 against Arizona, we win 5-4. A lot of close games so far. Simeon, was he injured again? Nope. He's 0 for 2. He's struggling a little bit, not going to lie. I expect that line to improve for him. Devers, did he get a home run here? No. Miyazaki continues to play incredibly well. And Simmons, same way, hitting 343. Dustin May, struggling early. He's even wanting to be in the bullpen right now. So, that's a possibility. I may be able to put him in the bullpen. Elledge up to 4 saves. Good pace for him. Now we're going to be playing at San Diego. So we're a game above 500. But this is going to be a tough run. San Diego, then Seattle on the road. Game 1, we win 5-4. We got Hernandez struggling. And, Simeon, Luciano struggling. Bart had a good game here. Simmons, where that's coming from, I don't know. He was 3 for 4, scored a couple. And then Gonsolin struggled 4 innings, 3 runs. Trinan got the save, a 2-inning save from him. And then game 2, San Diego, 3-9. So we were blown out of here. Miyazaki, though, still hot. Sheffield, he has looked really bad in his first three starts. He gave up 7 runs here, so we were out of this game from the get-go. Frisbee, I like having that left-handed option in the rotation, but Frisbee, he's not far behind in terms of being a guy I can move in there in the rotation. So game 3 against San Diego, we lose 4-5. So we're back to 500 at 8-8. Profar, Bart, couple hits. Devers, just 1 home run from him so far. Not very good. And then Clevenger had his best outing, but Smith and Elledge in the bullpen really hurt us. So looking at the weekly awards here, we got Dykeman and Acuna Jr., Players of the Week. Just an aside on this guy, one of the playthroughs I'm going offline just for my own enjoyment, playing the Phillies as I always do, and this guy has put up career numbers that are, just incredible. He just, after this last season, which I think was a 2038 season, he passed Barry Bonds for the all-time home run record. He's 40 years old, I think, and still playing. It's still valuable. Over 40, I think, at this point. I think he might have a chance at finishing as the top home run hitter of all time, the top RBI hitter, and the top run scorer of all time. It's crazy. So weekly rankings, we're at 17th, so we're moving down. Looking at the standings, it's tight, though, in that West. San Diego, surprisingly, really running away with it. And then we got the Cubs looking good, Atlanta looking good. Miyazaki, 3rd in the league in hitting. Acuna, though, gosh, hitting almost 500. That's insane. We got Elledge in the saves leaderboard, but that's it. You got Matt Chapman, 7 home runs. Salvador Perez, 7 home runs. Wow. Pete Alonso, 10. That's a 100-homer pace through the first 16 games. So a tenth of the way through the season, this guy's got 10 home runs. I want to check the waiver wire, as I like to do early. Not much there. At this point, though, I'm really still filling this team out. I'm not sure where all of the holes are right yet. So now 2 games against Seattle on the road. Game 1, we lose 2-1. That's a tough one. Miyazaki continues to hit well. Simeon played short in this one for a while. I hope that's, yes. I was thinking maybe that's because Simmons was hurt. Schmidt, another good outing. It's a shame this guy's not getting more wins. And then game 2, another 2-1 loss. And I think that may have been, no, it was another right-handed pitcher. Gosh, May, he's injured already. So, that's unfortunate. Trying, gosh, man, he's not looking good. Presley, though, is getting his numbers back in line to where they need to be. I hope that's not a big loss there on May. Now we're 4 games against San Diego at home. We're 2 games below 500, so a bad stretch right there. We need to get back to winning. Game 1, we win 6-4, and May's done. So that's unfortunately, that's, I could have probably eased him in. That was my fault, more than likely, for not easing him in. I was kind of gambling on that one, though, and I lost the gamble. That might do it for him. Those are, torn flexor tendon. That's a hard injury to come back from, and when you're out well over a year. So that sucks for us, but we picked up the win. In terms of the positives here, Devers, good game at home from him. Luciano, 3 for 4, drove in 3. He's still kind of struggling overall. And Gonsolin, great start from him. 8 innings, just 2 runs. Smith is disappointing me as well. I picked him up in free agency because of his ratings, but also his history in San Francisco has been really good. So let's see what we're going to do now for May. I know, this probably allows me to bring Santos back up there. And then do you put him or Frisbee in this as the starter? If I move these guys over to starting pitcher, they're both probably going to be 2.5 star pitchers. Man, Frisbee does not look good against lefties, and if I look at his ratings, they're a little bit better, but not much better. I think I'm going to go with Santos. Frisbee, for what it's worth, has looked really good in middle relief, so I want to see if Santos can do the job there in that rotation. Game 2 against San Diego, 3-2, close one, but we win in extra innings. Blankenhorn got some playtime here at third and hit a couple hits, but look at Simmons. Man, he was 4 for 5 in this one, had a home run. He's off to a great pace, and then defensively, looking really good already too defensively. So what can you say to that? There are some guys here I know I'm going to have to reevaluate when the month's over, but we'll give it some time. Sheffield had a decent outing. Went to Trinan, though, the win in relief. Game 3 against San Diego, another close win, 4-2. We're back a game up over above 500. Miyazaki, 3 for 4. Devers, 3 for 4. He picked up another home run there on the road, but I'm liking what I'm seeing so far from him. at home. I mean, he's hitting 357, so doing much better than he did last year. And then Clevenger got his second win, good outing. Trinan, man, he gives you a good outing, a bad one, a good one, a bad one. Now the last game here, we're going against Weathers, who's a lefty. This would be a good win if we could get it at home, and we do 4-3. Hernandez, 2 runs at the top of the lineup. Devers a couple hits, Profar a couple hits, and then Schmidt, unlucky again, didn't get the decision, but a great outing. And again, he didn't get it because of Elledge. Our bullpen is the struggle, for sure. You got some guys who are just doing really well, and then you got some who are tanking. So now 12-10, just 2 games back. I think that's going to put us pretty high when it comes to the power rankings for this week. We got Tim Anderson Player of the Week, Lindor, and then power rankings, we are all the way up to 10th. Standings, half game out of the wild card, 4-game winning streak. San Diego still, they would have been well ahead of us had we not won, had we not swept them. That's how good of a start they're on. So I'm going to take a look at that waiver wire, because now I feel like I probably need some pitching, and Alvarado's still out there. Oh, I think I've looked at him before, didn't like his control. So nothing going pitching wise. So we're about to the end of this month. We're going to be playing Chicago and then Cincinnati. Let's go ahead and get through this week, and then we'll take a look at the overall team's numbers. So game 1, 6-0 shutout, and that was Santos. So maybe he's ready to go. Devers got a home run here. Good to see from him. He's off to a great start. Miyazaki continues to hit. Profar struggling. I think, now I got him for 3 years. I'm hoping that he comes back. He's getting some walks. Same with Simeon, Luciano. It's really, I think it's really playing in San Francisco is really hurting these guys. But man, Santos, good start. Game 2 against Chicago, losing extra innings 3-5. That sucks. Devers, a couple hits. Ramos, a couple hits. But Gonsolin gave us 5 innings. That's not too bad. We just Elledge, Trinan, blew it in the bullpen. So we're at the end of the month. So through 1 month, 13-11, we got our player development update. Schmidt, despite how good he's been playing, lost a couple things there, but he's now a 3-star player, 3-star pitcher. Presley's improved. It might be time to move him into that closer role. He's looking really good. And then Dustin May, losing some ratings already, being on the injured list. And then Abram, almost ready to return. And we're into May. I think I might be able to give him a rehab assignment, I'm hoping, when he comes off. Devers lost some ratings. Don't know where that's going to show up. So did Profar. So monthly winners: Jose Ramirez, player of the month, batter of the month anyway, and Pete Alonso, 14 home runs for this guy. Pitching: Brad Keller at the Angels, and Ohtani, who's with Milwaukee in this playthrough now. 3-0, 1.98 ERA. And then I guess this is rookies, Takuda and Zephyrzhan. So let's finish out this week, and I'll look at the way our numbers individually look. So last game here against Chicago, we lose 2-4. Abram, I'm hoping I can put him on a rehab assignment. Yeah, and so that was a pretty poor series. We lost 2 of 3. Sheffield starting to pitch a little bit better. I mean, 5 innings, 1 run, and this was a rain delay game. Only got 6 innings. That kind of sucks. Chicago off to a great start, 15-9. So now we're up against Cincinnati on the road, 4-game series. They're going pretty strong this year too. I'd like to split this one. Then we got Milwaukee, so tough run. Game 1 we lose 2-3. Miyazaki 2 for 5. Simeon a couple hits. Clevenger took the loss, even though he went 6 innings, just 3 runs. We win 6-5 in game 2. Profar scored 3. Devers drove in a couple. Joey Bart I haven't mentioned, but he's off to a solid, for him anyway, a solid offensive start. And then Schmidt did not get the win here. So just 2 decisions so far for him in his starts. Elledge got the save. I mean, is it just going to be that he's going to be that kind of closer? I mean, he's angry because he wants to be. He's angry at his performance, though. So, you know, he just needs. If we keep winning and he gets better, that shouldn't be an issue. But, I mean, I'm really going by my scout here. I mean, he's. My scout thinks, you know, he doesn't come out and say that he's a closer, but he thinks he's elite. And OSA thinks he should be a closer. But Presley at this point, you know, his ratings look really good too. And my scout thinks, you know, he should be the closer. The fact that Elledge has blown, how many saves has he blown so far? I think that's going to be under the span of pitching too. So he's got 2 blown saves, so 750. Not good, but last year, you know, 3 blown saves in 26 attempts wasn't too bad. I'm going to give him some time. So now let's go game 3 against Cincinnati. Another 1-run win, 5-4. Devers really looking good. A good pace from him. Hitting 347. Same with Miyazaki. And the thing about Miyazaki, I'm going to look at it on the team level, but he's hitting well against lefties, which he probably shouldn't be, I guess. But Simeon, he's struggling. Bishop's struggling. Santos, 7 innings here, didn't get the decision. Elledge got his 7th save. And then final game of the series, probably the final game of this episode, we take another 1-run game, 4-3. Hernandez got a start here, led off with a couple hits, Bart a couple, and then Gonsolin, you know, he's not giving me innings. He's not getting the decisions, but overall great pitching performance here to preserve the win. I'll take a look at the news. So we got Sonny Gray out. I don't know if he's been out for a while, but he hasn't picked up a win yet. Now he's got 4 starts. So we got Mike Tauchman. I don't know how to say that one, sorry. And then Dylan Carlson, Players of the Week. And then we got team rankings. We are 5th. So that's the highest we've been. It's way early, and I feel like, you know, there are some flags kind of sticking out. Looks like the Dodgers have started to win. Padres started to lose, so it's getting a little tight here at the top. And surprisingly, Arizona off to a bad start. Looking at the rest of the leagues, the Yankees, Boston in the East. I forget who they picked. I know it was going to be close between whoever. I thought it may have been Tampa Bay and Toronto, so they're at the bottom. Chicago off to a good start. That's a pretty competitive division. Angels looking good. Texas not. And then you got Braves and Phillies in the East. Chicago, St. Louis, Reds, Milwaukee. I mean, they're really close, I think. Individually, anything sticks out. Maybe Jose Ramirez, who's gone to New York in this playthrough his first time. I think he won the no, he didn't win the MVP last year, but I would have voted for him. He had a great offensive season. He's looking good this year. Brad Keller with 5 wins for Los Angeles. The Angels, that's a good one. Giolito, 54 strikeouts. And Acuna now batting below 400, but looking really, really good. I'm not seeing anybody here from our team except for Elledge on the leaderboards. Let me look at the waiver wire just to see if anything's coming through there, and it's not really. So let's take a look at the team stats first off. So we know the record's good. I'm happy with the start. If we play 550, I mean, man, that's going to be competing, I think, for a wild card. Our record at home really upside down from where it was last year. I hope that continues. We're 9-4 at home. Last year we played I wish I could remember it, but it was 370 something, maybe percentage wise. Not good. So I'm thinking the moves, even though maybe the individual numbers don't show it yet, I'm thinking, some of the lineups, some of the offensive players we picked up are making a difference. But 2 games below 500 on the road. I mean, it's a small sample size, right? Either way, it's a small sample size, but I would be hopeful if we stay around 500 on the road as far as that goes. A lot of one-run games. We're 9-7, luckily, but that's a high number, seems like, through the first 29 games. But left-handed pitching, 5-2. I'm liking that. Individually, I knew the pitching was probably going to be better. I really like where defensive efficiency is. That's going to help the pitching because we do have a pretty. If you look at the ratings, we have a pretty mediocre staff. So we're going with the park and we're going with those kind of things to help us out there. But offensively, I think we're probably better than we were overall at this point last year and really how we finished last year. I'd like to get that on base percentage up a little bit more. I mean, that's kind of the guys I was going for, and Simeon and Profar and even Hernandez, that I picked up in the offseason. So far, they're not really showing it, but we're 7th in walks. So some of these guys are just off the slow starts, off average-wise, so maybe that'll come around. But gotta like where the pitching's at. Now, if I look at pitching first, Sheffield is really struggling. Jelly, I don't know if I call it struggling. Elledge, those 3 guys have a negative WAR at this point. Elledge, though, he's been a little bit better of late. I think he'll probably get better as the season goes on. Peters has looked really good. No runs in 9 2/3. Presley has really looked good. I'm giving this guy a lot of money to be a setup guy. Smith, he's better than he was. Trinan, better than he was, but he's got a long way to go to really turn around a pretty bad start. Whistler looks good. I'm glad I picked him up. Giving up a lot of hits, but it's probably not hurting him, especially at home, where I would bet he's pitching better at home. Why is it not showing me what I want to see? I was looking at the expanded stats. Yeah, he's better at home by quite a bit. Gonsolin, I think, Abrams, who just started his rehab, I'm going to let him, pick up some starts, and I'm hoping that he's set to start. Yeah, he's gonna be getting some starts down there in AAA. Maybe give him a couple and see how he looks. But he'll probably be called up, and then I can move either Santos or Gonsolin back to the bullpen. But pitching overall, we're weathering it. With some guys looking really good, like what I'm seeing from Clevenger and Schmidt in the starting rotation, and a few guys in the bullpen. Lineup side, it's really tough. Now, looking at overall numbers, and I like the Ops Plus, as a good indicator. So you got Miyazaki, Devers, Simmons. That's not going to hold. Ramos not getting a lot of playing time. So those guys are pretty much leading the way offensively. Bart not having a bad year either. But after that, it looks really tough. Profar not putting up the numbers that I expected, although I do think if his average starts coming up, I mean, he's getting the walks for the most part, 11 walks and 126 plate appearances. I figured he was probably good for 70 or so walks on a full season, so we'll hopefully get better numbers from him there. Bishop showing some power, but it's just not going to cut it if he keeps that up. Simeon, the same way. I mean, he's got you look at his production potential. Home runs 28, RBIs 95. I'm just hoping that he's just off to a bad start, because this guy also looked good when it came to the reason I picked him up last year. So we'll hopefully he'll come back. So this is what we're looking like overall. I'm going to look at what we're doing versus lefties. So you got Bart looking really good. Just looking at it again from Ops Plus. Blankenhorn surprisingly looking good. Hernandez looking good against lefties. His ratings are down already. Not too good there. But Ramos, he might be starting to push for some time. The thing that gets me with him, he's not going to get on base much. But overall, we're looking a lot better against left-handed pitching than we did last year. But a lot of it has to do, too, with some guys probably outperforming where they're going to be, like Miyazaki. You get down here, though, to Luciano, Simeon. Those are guys that I'm counting on to play well against lefties, and they're not. Against righties, it's a different story, I'm sure. Yeah, so we got Devers, Miyazaki. So we got, Ramos still looks good there. I'd say it's a different story, but it's really not. So we got, we're struggling both sides of the plate right now. We're just playing, I think, overall a little bit better than we were last year against left-handed batters. Now, at home, I'm definitely seeing some upside here with these top three: Miyazaki, Devers, Simmons. Devers is a real big surprise. I mean, he's not going to have the power at home, just a home run. His slugging percentage, though, is .581 because of the doubles. I'll take that, if that's how it plays out. But Hernandez, I was hoping would look good. Profar and Simeon, for sure, I was hoping would look good at home, and they're not. So that's something I can't really let continue. So I really think with us winning, I don't want to make too many moves right now. But just, I think, I'm going to give some of these guys more time, mainly Profar, I'm definitely going to give more time because I signed him to be the starter. He's going to be the starter. Bishop, I do like his power, his defensive play. So, it doesn't look like it's costing us much right now to have him starting against right-handed pitchers. But, we'll have to see, because Blankenhorn, honestly, in limited play, is showing some things. Those numbers are kind of out of whack in some cases. He's not going to get, that would be like the doubles and home runs pace. I don't think this guy's going to slug over 500, but, he is definitely there ready if Bishop just keeps going down like that. And same with Ramos. I mean, he's ready to start at right. I could put Profar in left. I mean, I've got some options there. I want Bishop to develop a little bit, because I think Ramos, I may be wrong. You guys can can tell me what you think. I think Ramos is not the on-base guy that I'm looking for, and over the course of a full season. But it might be something I have to really reevaluate as we go along. But even, yeah, I mean, that's not a bad start. I'll give him that. The power's not there yet, but that's a pretty good start from Ramos. But so far, the plan kind of looks like it's going the way I thought it would. But again, it's going to take another month, 2 months to see. You guys can maybe weigh in with some of your comments. What do you see? What moves you see you think I should make in the lineup? But so far, I'm content to ride it out a little bit longer. If we hit like a long losing streak, then especially if we hit a long losing streak at home, then I'm gonna have to start really reevaluating. But for now, hey, it looks pretty good. At least we're on the right track if we can continue this play through the rest of the year. But as always, appreciate you guys watching, supporting, commenting, liking. And I'll see you next episode. I'll probably go all the way through to the draft and All-Star break and come back after that and see how we're still playing. Might be in a position, like I say, to make some trade moves. We probably have some young prospects we can move if we need to. Again, I always was hoping that Luciano would take off offensively and I could put him back to third and move Devers if I had to. But it just depends on what I can get from Devers. I mean, Devers right now is leading this team offensively, so I don't want to get rid of him if I don't have to. So that'll do it for this episode. I'll see you next time.